Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto the four elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. Unless Satan should get any advantage of us, we're not ignorant to his devices. Now, this is interesting news, especially if you understand prophecy and, seeing the direction that everything is heading in, and, the scriptures say that the devil is he's going to come down having great wrath because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So he's trying to get a lot accomplished in a short amount of time. So what they think they're doing is progress. All right. Using Trump to sign off on all these different initiatives and legislations, bills. He's militarizing everything. And he's also leaning towards or moving closer towards that technocracy, that they've been speaking on. All right. So with his latest move, they're now appointing this guy, Jim O'Neill. All right. He was under Robert Kennedy Jr. as the deputy secretary of human and health services. And this guy, he's been known to have ties with the CEO, the founder of Palantir. All right, Peter Thiel. These guys, they basically push that whole Techno-Liberal ideology. They're for technological progress, and not structural. So it was definitely in their best interest to put a guy like this in this position to now serve as the temporary director of the CDC. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just play this news segment so I can hear, and then we'll just come right back. I'm gonna try to make this brief.
We have some breaking news. A source confirms to CBS News that Jim O'Neill will be the acting director of the CDC. He currently serves as the Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services. Let's bring in our panel. Violet Gyra is a reporter for Notice, and Matt Brown covers politics for the Associated Press. Great to see you both. This has been huge news all day. The apparent firing of the CDC director. I mean, Matt, she was just confirmed a month ago, and it's really notable because...
Yeah, Suzanne Minoris, just appointed not too long ago, then she gets fired, and now all of a sudden they put this guy, or the Deputy Secretary of Human and Health Services. All right, but this guy, he has ties and actually was a part of another corporation under that guy, Peter Thiel. All right. So this all has to do with that, techno-liberal, basically this is the right wing of the technocratic bureaucracy. All right, that's basically what's being set up, because we know the overall deal is for them to blur the lines between man, or basically biology, science and technology. All right, they're trying to blur the lines. They want to merge man with machine, with technology. All right, biotech. This all coincides with the beast system. All right. And the fact that this beast was going to be given authority over everybody, and they're going to create an image that we see is coming to life, because they putting all of the infrastructure together, and this is how they're gonna rule over the world. And then we know what comes after that. They're gonna issue out a device that you're gonna have in your body. So that's why I started off by quoting 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. You know, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. So they're moving their chess pieces, and you got stupid, dumb dogs that love to slumber. That's not trying to bark. That's not letting you know what's going on. You're gonna find out, man. This is what we've been saying all along. But let me let this news segment play out.
Because Bill Cassidy, one of the top Republicans on the panel that confirmed her, had a lot of reservations originally about RFK Jr. He's got some questions about this. I'm curious, in your coverage of Congress, it seems like they come back next week, and many might have some more questions too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a situation where we're going to see two institutions get into the executive branch that have been top of mind for this administration, which are the courts and Congress. The adjudication that's probably about to happen is, Senator Bill Cassidy and other Republican leaders have, received promises and other, agreements between them and the administration on, what they're going to be expecting in terms of health policy, especially on vaccines, from the CDC and from the HHS Secretary, Robert.
See, and with them having this connection, and now under medical emergencies and, scares, and they can use the media to, scare you into, following these mandates and, all these different strict procedures. So now they'll also have the technology to be able to detect, who's cooperating and getting their doses, and what your medical history is. They'll basically, everything will be on file in the system. All right, they just got to collect all the data, and Palantir comes in handy. This whole technocratic infrastructure, it's all going to come in handy, so they can have the oversight over who's in the system and who isn't. All right. And this is for more control, of course. They need to have the oversight. They need to see, who's cooperating.
Kennedy Jr. So if some of those agreements, are in dispute or under debate, given the change in personnel, those are going to be some of the questions that you're going to see, especially since the outgoing director said that she will be suing, I believe, over her position.
Yeah, and talking about lawsuits, I mean, Violet, people may forget, but just a few days ago, the big question, the big news story was about the Federal Reserve Board member, Cook. She's, and her attempted firing by the president. She's in this legal battle now. I'm wondering what this kind of tells us about the Trump administration. I mean, they seem to be gearing up for these kinds of fights.
Right. Yeah. Lisa Cook sued the Trump administration this morning, and tomorrow it will be decided in court whether or not, number one, Trump has the authority to fire her. That's what this court proceeding will be about, and whether or not she gets to keep her job in the interim while she's fighting this battle against the administration.
That's a good point.
I think broadly this can be seen.
They gonna tell her to fucking stay in her fucking place. The audacity. Come on, man. We already know how this is gonna go. Who she thinks she is, right? Come on now.
As one of many steps the president has taken to sort of challenge the Fed's independence. We saw earlier this year he was attempting to fire Chairman Powell. He decided not to do that, and this is all in service of what the president wants, which is lower interest rates. So I think this will be a very, very interesting case to follow. There's never been anything like it. He's the first to do it, so something we'll be watching closely.
A lot of questions. It's a really good point about whether she can keep her job in the interim. I do want to talk about this potential that a lot of Trump supporters keep teasing, this idea that he'll run for another term. Of course, we know that he's constitutionally not allowed to. But Gavin Newsom had some interesting thoughts on this. Let's play a little bit.
All right, so that's pretty much it. I want to focus on the first half of the segment dealing with this Jim O'Neill guy. All right, so let me do this. Let me get a quick script. Because right now, this devil, he's just spread himself, like that Green Bay tree. Was that Psalm 90? Not Psalm 90. Psalm 37. Is Psalm 37 and 35. It says, I have seen the wicked in great power. And they're in great power, because right now the world is given into their hands. So with that power, what are they going to do? They're going to do what their hearts desire, right? Like it says in Micah 2, when the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the power of their hand. So they're making all their connections. All right, they dotting their I's and crossing their T's right now, putting this whole system together. All right, this is all part of that image. So he's spreading himself in great power, it says, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yeah, I sought him, and he could not be found. Why? Because the Lord's about to overthrow him. When all this gets dissolved, when the Lord comes back and judge and make war with these nations and destroy this place, it's going to be like he never was, man. One minute you see him in this high, lofty position in the world. People see this man as a godlike figure. Like it says in 2 Thessalonians, the second chapter, is really just the man of sin being revealed, but he thinks he's on the level of the Most High. The mystery of iniquity is working. Even he who's coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. He's gonna let his AI, left hand sorcery do all the working, do all the talking for him. But then all that's gonna come to naught in 1 hour. So he's spreading himself, and he's making all these moves on a global level, but then all in one day it's gonna be like he never was. And that's the beauty of it all. So that's why it says only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way, because he's gonna be met with that glorious power coming from on high. It says, well, he shall destroy him with the brightness of his coming. So let me grab this. Psalm 140 verse 8. And it says, grant not, O Yahweh, the desires of the wicked, further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves. Salah. And that's why he's only going to allow them to get so far with it before he, closes it. All right. Like it says in Job 5, he's going to disappoint the hands of the crafty that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right. So, he's only deceiving himself. And that's because that pride that he has was Obadiah. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks. So, they want to, fuse man with machine, say that they're trying to upgrade humanity and make progress. But all this is just him trying to have control on a godly level, trying to be like the Most High. He wants to detect pre-crimes before they happen through this technology. He will be able to maintain the global population. He'd be able to all type of stuff, man. Now let me because I looked up techno-liberalism, because that's basically what this Peter Thiel guy, that's what he represents, and this guy Jim O'Neill, this is the ideology that they represent, which is why it's interesting that he's being placed as a director for the CDC temporarily, right? It says techno-liberalism is a political ideology blending liberalism's emphasis on individual liberty with an intense belief in technology and algorithmic solutions to solve social problems. You see that? And it's all being done gradually. with them introducing all these different techno programs and systems into the world, right? Hell, Palantir. That's why all these agencies are partnering up with Palantir, IRS, FBI, fucking Wendy's, all these different places. So it's a reason behind all of this. It says, often envisioning a post-racial, post-labor future where automation liberates humanity. And that's why we've been seeing a lot of these strikes, and like you had those seaports, with those workers, there was protesting, it was like they was going on strike because automation was, taking them out of their jobs, which they've been trying to tell you that AI is going to replace the workforce. They're going to take over everything. All right. You ain't going to own nothing, and technology is going to basically do everything for you and rule over you. And they're going to be the ones, all right, with the remote controls of society to control it all. That's their desire. It says, however, critics argue that techno-liberalism obscures existing inequalities, promotes technological fixes over structural ones, and can serve as a ruse that allows racial capitalism and social power dynamics to persist under the guise of progress. Come on, man. Because that's what it's all about. And then it goes into the core concepts. Technological progress as liberation. A central tenet is the belief that technological advancements and automation will free people from repetitive labor, allowing for increased human potential and freedom. That sounds good. So I ain't gotta, go to work every day. Basically we could just rely on the technology to do everything for us. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna be in a house, right? It's basically, everything's gonna look like a damn Black Mirror episode. And that's what they've been programming to you through these series and movies as of late anyway. And ultimately, like with Palantir, there's an authoritarian feel to this administration. So if you get out of line, they could zoom in on your life. All right. Basically, you'll be like the enemy of the state, like that movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith. Y'all go back and rewatch that movie. Man, that dude was under heavy surveillance, man. Everything around, when you look at that movie, you see how it's so easy for this devil to spy out on you through every means of communication. Every technological device around you can be used as a surveillance system. You can't even escape it, man. Let me get a quick script. Job 13 and 27. I'm gonna read it in the NLT. And it says, "You put my feet in stocks. You examine all my paths. You trace all my footprints." And we know that they ultimately want to create a social credit system that's going to be based on you're going to be basically placed on this judgmental infrastructure, digital infrastructure, where if you are not obeying society, the rules, you can pretty much what's the word? Basically, you could be at the possibility of losing privileges, of attaining to certain services, certain amenities. All right, if you lose a lot of social credit, if your social credit score is low, you will lose out on you know, being able to enter into certain restaurant stores, businesses, and you could be refused from utilizing certain services because you don't have enough credit. And ultimately, they're doing that whole carbon footprint. You know, we need to reduce carbon emissions so we can have a safer environment, a clean environment, and all this other nonsense. It's all still based on control. So they want to trace everything, man. And what better way than to do that than to put you into this system, right? Put that device in you so that they can track everything about you in your every move, every financial transaction, controlling your buying and selling. That gives them ultimate power over you. They can say what you can buy, what you have access to, what you can't buy, what you can't sell. And in order for you to even participate, you're going to have a device. That's Revelation 13:16 on down. So that's the perfect way. So you see how this is all being designed right now, the moves that's being made. And this devil, he's crafty, but we already got him figured out, man. All right, because the Spirit of the Lord, all right, he's pouring out his Spirit, and he gave his men that eyesalve to be able to see everything. Only those who can't see it is because they still sleep. Scripture say, "Let us now sleep. Let us not sleep as the others, but let us watch and be sober." You know, so that's basically what it is right now. You know, people that are asleep is gonna catch them like a thief. So let me get another one. Because, you know, he's this devil trying to be like the Most High. What script? Is it 121? This is Psalm 121:7. It says, "The Lord keeps you from all harm and watches over your life." This is an NLT. "The Lord keeps watch over you as you come and go, both now and forever." But Esau trying to be like the Most High. He wants to have that same watch over you as you come and you go. See? So that's why the Lord is eventually going to, stop him in his tracks, man, and bring his ass down. You know? He said, "I will be like the Most High." And the Lord he's going to bring you down. So let me get this and we'll close out. This is Psalms 9:20, and it says, "Make them tremble in fear, O Yahweh. Let the nations know they are merely human." And in the KJV it says, "Put them in fear, O Yahweh, that the nations may know themselves to be but men." Yeah, because he's not the Most High. You know, though he set his heart as the heart of the Most High. All right, Ezekiel the 28th chapter, you know. They are wiser than Daniel. There's no secret that they can hide from thee. You know, that Peter Thiel dude, he's from Frankfurt, Germany. That's Teeman, and they were known for being wise. You know, the wise men of Edom. So they're utilizing, you know, all this left hand knowledge, and they putting it all together. But the Lord's going to bring it all to an end eventually, man. So anyway, I just want to do a quick, touch up on this. Now, you can read the prophecies of, the image of the beast, the miracles, how it would deceive the people. And the people would deceive, they would receive the charagma in their heads or in their hand. It is all part of the setup of this system. All right, the monetary system is getting ready to phase out. And then going into the new, everything digital. So anyway, I hope y'all are edified. I'm going to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Shai. And to the next one, Shalom.